This assessment of ours is based on how the Chinese and the Philippines came into confrontation recently about the Philippines wanting to use the waters, in many ways rightly so, around the Philippine archipelago, and the waters as per international law are waters which are part of the EEZ, Exclusive Economic Zone, surrounding the many countries that make up Southeast Asia. And China has been dominant and claiming that all the waters around these islands of Southeast Asia, called the South China Sea, belongs to China historically. This case of China was taken up at the International Court of Justice, and it was dismissed as legally weak, and China has been unwilling to accept the legal judgment of the courts because it insists that this territory belonged to China nearly 300 years ago, 273 BC or thereabouts. So basically, China is adamant that any ships, boats, etc. that traverse through South China Sea waters, where China has drawn a line on the map, which is not a natural barrier of sorts, but a line called the 9-dash line, the 9 dashes, which make up what China calls its waters. The other countries are unwilling to accept it because the region has mineral resources, maritime resources, and they are not going to accept the Chinese argument that this waters and territory belong to China. So what has happened is that there was an old junk ship that was near the second Thomas Shoal Island, which China has moved in, and very strong arm tactics were used to confront the Philippines boatmen. One person was injured, but effectively this is what the Philippines have said is strong arm tactics and sort of banditry in the high seas. But China, as we know, doesn't give a damn about the rule book. And therefore, China is insisting that these waters are Chinese waters and everyone should take Chinese permission. There are those who argue that the Chinese effort to confront Philippines is to basically bring the US into the entire debate, because the US and Philippines have a military treaty of 1951 that needs to be revived, and Chinese are not willing to accept any arbitration by any country, including the US, because basically the Chinese believe that they call the shots here. Now, also there is an issue that the waters around many of these Southeast Asian countries are part of what is allowed as EEZ. It's about 100 to 200 miles around the coastline of all these countries is known as the country's waters, where they can fish and they can do what they want. But the Chinese are unwilling to accept it. So the fear is that if the confrontation continues for long, it could spill over into something bigger and worse. But as of now, I think past experience has shown there will be efforts made to put an end to this confrontation, but China is not going to rest with it. So therefore, the world should be prepared that this could be another hotspot for conflicts.